What it do? What it do? I'm back. I had a 1 day vacation last week,
Yeah.
a little hiatus, but it's all good. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back like a. I'm back like I forgot my car keys, man. So,
Jordan the Weekend Jean Louis.
Dude,
oh
that
man,
video was just fantastic. I don't know how you hit that high note, but
I
that was
still I didn't even see
fantastic.
the video. Wait, hold on a second.
Bro,
uh,
I was
I wish we had social
Send
crying.
media
that to
where we
me,
could
man.
put that up.
yeah, but no, like y'all held it down. Y'all held the fort down last week for real. But I'm back.
Yo,
The
I gotta
sheriff.
be honest. I missed the countdown, dude. I thought we were gonna have access to that. I love that little. I'll just be
Yeah, we started
jamming.
it, and Maz was sort of just like, I guess we're started now.
I guess we're live.
I guess we're live. We're live.
I bet.
No
Let's jump right into it,
pre-recorded.
though.
All
Anyone
right.
jumping into it? Anybody going
All
once?
right. So,
twice?
what's the first topic, fellas?
All
Matt,
right,
hit
so
us. Who's even hosting tonight? Weird.
Matt,
Me?
I'll
Me?
take it in.
Absolute
Here we
schmucks.
go.
Hey,
Here
we
we go.
never
We
decided
fumbling
upon
over
this.
the ant
We
now.
never
Hold
decided
on.
upon this. All right, let's do this. All right.
Tell me
about
you're
it.
unprofessional without telling me you're unprofessional.
I didn't tell you I was unprofessional, but now I am.
I just meant us as a show, you
Yeah.
schmuck.
We are schmucks, but that's why everyone loves us. All right, so we're going to kick it off with the NFL and this insane divisional playoff weekend. Probably the best weekend of playoff football I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, probably the
Crazy.
worst for my predictions. Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
I've
0
never
and 4,
been so
Maz.
never been that
Jeez.
bad, dude. What
But-
happened?
We're going to hop into the first game. Bengals Titans on Saturday night in Tennessee. Tennessee coming in as the 1 seed. Joe Burr knocks off the Titans on an Evan Mcpherson, was that 43-yard field goal as time expired, 19-16. The Bengals took down the Titans, and what a game was it? I'm going to start with Jay.
To be honest, because I know I missed like half the game because like we were all in the studio like when it happened, or I was driving home. But because it was 4:30, that's when the game was. I think it was the early game, and but no, like from what I saw, like the last bit of it, like like they were stopping Derrick Henry, which I mean, I picked the Titans to win because of that reason, Derrick Henry. But I mean, me being a Ravens fan, I mean, Burrows is, I mean, legit, man. Like he's come off the ACL injury a year or two ago. Like he plays like he's playing like he was playing at LSU, man. Like so I'm excited for him, man. Him and Jamar Chase are in Nixon. Oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, like they did good, they played good, and they deserve it.
All right, Maz.
Yo, Joe Burrow's the real deal, bro. I mean, I know he didn't score any touchdowns, but he only threw one interception. He still threw for 348 yards. I mean, he was running for his life a little bit there. I think he got sacked like 9 times, but I mean, still, it says right, he came out with a 93.1 quarterback rating, which is pretty decent, So I think he's the real deal, man. I think Joe Burrow is going to be around for a while. I don't know if they make it past the next round against the Chiefs, but I do know that that's going to be an exciting game because both offenses are going to be coming in, and it's going to be just like that Bills game. I feel like not in terms of maybe not like late second. That was the best ending ever I think I've ever seen. We'll get to that. But I just think there's a lot of firepower coming in. I'm surprised the Titans lost this one, but I mean, it is what it is. I thought Derrick Henry was going to have a bigger impact on the game. He was still pretty decent with his touchdown and 62 yards. But at the end of the day, I mean, they just couldn't get it done. And Ryan Tannehill, oh man, what a struggle. Ryan Tannehill is not a bad quarterback, Like I'm not sitting here saying that he's Aaron Rodgers or a superstar, but I could think of a lot worse guys I could have back there, and he just wasn't looking great the entire game. But AJ Brown, wow, what a game out of him! 142 yards and a touchdown. But I don't know, man. I think Julio Jones definitely could have impacted the game a little more. He's been looking a little rusty. I mean, I know he still had like 6 receptions for like a little over 60 yards, but it was just it was a weird one, man. And I'm surprised the Bengals got it done, but I'm happy that Joe Burrow and the boys came out of that one on top. I would love to see the Cinderella underdog story, but they got some fierce competition. I don't even know if they make it past the next round.
All right, Matt.
No, I actually did have I ended up going with the Titans to win this game. But originally, my gut feeling before Maz told me that Derrick Henry was returning was that the Bengals had this.
That's right. You switched your prediction. I forgot about that.
I know. I should have stuck with my gut feeling because I knew what this offense was capable of. They may be young and may not have the most experience, but they are so dynamic. And what did I say? This man, Joe Burrow, is so poised, man. You can just see the confidence just radiating from his body and just the aura his team has, the offense has around this dude, man. They just fully believe in this guy. And for good reason. He's so talented. Like Matt said, he didn't score any touchdowns, but when you needed him to step up, he made every big play. He was under duress the entire game. The Titans defense definitely did what I thought it would do. Even better. I didn't think they would get that much pressure on him. I knew they would probably make it rough for him. But the Titans D-line were all over Joe Burrow for the majority of the game. And he stayed in the pocket. He took those hits. He wasn't flinching. He wasn't rushing his throws. He wasn't throwing off his back foot and he waited for his feet to get set. He was just doing it. He looked like a vet out there. He looked really, really good out there. But now I have to say Ryan Tannehill, man. You saying he's not a bad quarterback. Well, he damn sure ain't a good one. He's not the quarterback you need. That's gonna, especially in the AFC with all those elite quarterbacks out there. Not even to mention Gilbert on the Chargers, who wasn't even in the playoffs. But Joe Burrow, Herbert. Like I said, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill you're not beating any of those guys with Ryan Tannehill. I don't care how good your rush is. I don't care how good your defense
But how can you say that where like we've seen worse quarterbacks win Super Bowls?
Trent Dilfer?
I mean, dude, come on. Nick Foles is not a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. Come on, man. So
I know, but he also put up 40 something against Bill Belichick's defense. I don't think Ryan Tannehill is doing that.
How do you know that, though?
No.
Because if he has a defense to give him the opportunities, and if he actually had, don't get me wrong, if this Titans team's fully healthy, completely different story. I mean, Henry just got back. Julio could have had I thought should have had a bigger impact on the game just because of the level of talent we're accustomed to seeing from him, even though he's been slumping lately. A couple of injuries here and there. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's Ryan Tannehill. I could think of a lot of guys worse. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Ryan Tannehill is absolutely a top 15 quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know about top 15.
He's like right there.
He probably barely sneaks in, but I'm saying
probably like 14.
I said he wasn't an elite talent. You know what I mean? He's like I've been talking about that Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo guy. He's one of those, but he's better than Garoppolo in my opinion. It's just Garoppolo's working with some elite talent on defense and stuff, So.
Yeah, before we move on from this game,
I can't give Ryan Tannehill that type of pass. 3 interceptions, and one of his very first passes was a pick. And then that crucial turnover when they were in the end zone, he looks for the underneath. I think he was trying to hit his running back, or maybe it was a screen. The cornerback is literally playing the flat. He's literally right in front of you, and you still throw it.
Listen.
Joe Burrow wouldn't even do that, and he's in his second, third year. Ryan Tannehill is not going to be. He's not going to carry you to a Super Bowl. It's not happening.
Oh, I don't think Ryan Tannehill's. I agree with you 100%. I don't think anybody's sitting here saying. I said he's not an elite talent. I'm just saying there's worser guys you could have that are in the league that have starting jobs. I mean, I can think of a lot of guys I'd rather not have compared to Ryan Tannehill. But
I think it's fair to say that Tannehill is nothing without Derrick Henry, you know what I'm saying? Because Henry does all the work, you know what I'm saying?
He's got to establish the play action, man. You got to get the run going because these Garoppolo too. They all work off of getting the play action.
Yeah, because these past couple playoffs.
Same way.
Yeah, because these past couple playoff games for the Titans, they rely heavily on the run, just like Matt says. Like Derrick Henry is not just a running back; he can catch the ball in the backfield too. So I mean, get some credit to Derrick Henry, because he carries a load, But they
got to done without Henry a lot of the season.
I'm saying in the past, Tannehill has relied on Derrick Henry to carry a load, you know what I'm saying, because of how he
For
No.
sure. I
So-
mean, listen, I think if you're going to blame the loss on somebody, yeah, it's definitely Tannehill.
Yeah,
But,
definitely the quarterback.
100%.
Yeah.
you know, I
Wait,
mean, dude.
Before
Go
we
ahead,
move
Ed.
on, I want to talk quickly about Bengals rookie kicker Evan Mcpherson. That
Dude
kid
said,
already.
guess we're going to
Dude,
the AFC
that-
Championship
Joe
game.
Burrow
What a
gets him in
dog.
the field goal range. It wasn't even a chip shot. On grass in Tennessee, outdoors, 40-something yarder in
Didn't he make
January.
250-yard field goals in the game? I think he made
Yeah.
250.
Yeah.
Dude, that
52
kid's got
54.
nerves of steel.
Yeah, this kid, he's like, it was a 52 yarder. 52 yarder. He goes to Joe Burrow. Guess it looks like we're going to the AFC Championship game.
Love it.
Wow.
Tell you the confidence, man. The Joe Burrow effect.
Hey,
Just
man,
radiating, dude.
These Bengals got swagger. I mean, I did say in last week's podcast, if I expected anyone in the AFC at this moment to beat the Chiefs, it was going to be the Bills. Didn't work out that way. Bengals are going to put up a little bit of a fight. They won, I think, week 14 this season. It's going to be an exciting rematch, but I mean, we'll have to see later on. So moving on from Cincinnati and Tennessee. Second game of the Saturday doubleheader, San Francisco and Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers coming in, age 38 season, was looking like the MVP. And Jimmy, the game manager, Garoppolo. I swear, this guy does the most bare minimum of any quarterback in NFL history, and he still gets playoff wins. I'm going to read off his playoff stats in a minute here. In his career, for playoff stats only, this man has been to a Super Bowl, and now he's been to an NFC Championship game. His career postseason stats: 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 146 yards passing per game, and a 44.8 QBR in his career in the playoffs, with a Super Bowl run, and now an NFC Championship game run. What do you guys have to say about this? We're going to start with Matt now.
This game really surprised me. I think we all picked the Packers, but all this game did was confirm what I said originally in the last show, or it was either the last show, the show before that. Aaron Rodgers in the postseason does not live up to his regular season hype. The MVPs, the monster performances. He was 1-4 in conference championships going into this season, and you lose to Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, obviously, he was facing the defense. It's not one-on-one. This isn't basketball where the quarterback can obviously go up against the other quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers, even though he didn't have any interceptions, he didn't play bad, but he doesn't reach that superstar level in the playoffs where you would assume that a player of his caliber, that talented, would make the biggest plays in the game. He never makes the key plays in a signature win in postseason. I'm talking postseason only. The San Francisco came out. They were on him, pressuring him, made it difficult, similar to how how the Titans made it hard for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. The San Francisco 49ers D-line was all over Aaron Rodgers. But I got to give credit to the special teams, man. Special teams and defense is what really carried this San Francisco team to the W. The block kick, when Aaron Rodgers fumbled it. Like I said, he was under duress. San Francisco made all the key plays defensively. Jimmy Garoppolo, we know he gets carried by his defenses. You just read his postseason stats. He doesn't do anything special. I think he did make some bigger plays than Aaron Rodgers did, even if you want to argue Rodgers had a slightly better game. I think Jimmy Garoppolo he stepped up in key moments more than Aaron Rodgers did. So I didn't expect this, but I actually looked at the history between these two teams, and actually going into this game, Aaron Rodgers was actually 0-3 or 0-4 against this team before this going into this game. So maybe if I had looked at that, I would have chose San Fran earlier.
All right, so Maz, what was your impression of the game?
That defense is insane over in San Francisco. I mean, they come up to they're from Southern California, and they come, and don't get me wrong, like we know, like the Bay can get a little cold at times, but it ain't nothing like that weather up in Wisconsin going into Green Bay. They go into Green Bay, they do absolute work. I mean, Rodgers didn't throw for a touchdown. They held Aaron Jones to like 41 yards, and they were the shining star of this performance for me, and the special teams getting that block punt. But I'm just pretty annoyed, man, because it's like Dak Prescott plays the San Francisco team, right? They lose a close one. Dak throws for like 254 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And granted, his completions wasn't the greatest, but he was getting pressured the entire game. And I'm not giving Dak a pass. I'm just saying Dak plays this defense overrated quarterback because he loses to him. Aaron Rodgers, who's supposed to be the league MVP, throws for less yards. Granted, he completed 20 of 29, but throws for less yards at 225, no touchdowns, loses 13-10, and it's still like, oh, we're just gonna give him a pass.
He's not getting a pass. He's getting blasted right now.
I haven't seen enough of it, man. I'm with Matt. I think Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, people are attacking Aaron Rodgers' legacy right now.
I'm with him at this point. I mean,
But you're saying he's not getting hated right now. He's getting hated.
I haven't seen it, is what I'm saying.
Not enough.
You must be blind, bro. You must be blind.
You know what it is, dude? I think it's just like all my social media just gets flooded with like the algorithm just keeps on sending me like all the Cowboys hate. So like I'm seeing like a little bit of it, but like we're not talking like. We weren't talking about this defense being elite when they played the Cowboys. Oh, it was a mediocre team, this and that. Then they shut down Aaron Rodgers, and it's an elite defense. And so there's a cop out there because he had to put up with the elite defense, and they shut down Jones. Well, they shut down Zeke too. What's the difference? I mean, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers needs to get the hell up out of Green Bay, in my opinion.
All right, Jay. So what'd you think about this game?
Well, the podcast that the last podcast I was on, I mean, I thought the weather was going to be a factor for the 49ers because like Matt said, and like we all said that they come from like California, where it's nice and sunny, but it didn't look like it affected them like at all. Like I mean, they were ready for they knew what was at stake. But the thing is, I was looking at on ESPN with the stats, and I think that Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he went 20 for 29, like 200 something yards. And he had a rating of 91.9, I think. And Jimmy had like 100 something passing yards, and he had like a lower QBR, which is kind of odd. But I mean, it was a low scoring game. So Aaron Rodgers, he had a fairly good game when it comes to yardage. But I mean, just like Matt said for his take, I think that the defense and special teams took this game. I don't think offense was clicking on both sides for like the passing and stuff, but I mean, I love that dude on the front lines. Brady and Ayuk, he's a beast, man. I think Adam Jones had, I think like 20 something yards. I think it's or something like. I think
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Aaron
Jones had 41 yards.
41 yards.
They shut him down rushing, but receiving, I mean, he was doing work out there.
He was a leading receiver,
he put up 129 yards coming out of there. So, but I think the problem is that they just were only looking for two guys the whole game. I mean, he literally was hitting Devonta Adams and Aaron Jones. That was basically it. Everybody else, I mean, hit Lazard and Lewis for one pass each.
And Lewis had a fumble too.
Yeah, so it was rough, dude. And I mean, like it's not that Rodgers had a bad game. It's just like you need to kick it into that next gear, man.
Right. And plus, I mean, I think they got their key players back on defense, like Jair Alexander. They got
Bosa came back.
Darius Smith, I think, I think he came back on the Green Bay. Yeah, Nick Bosa came back with he had a couple tackles, and so yeah. It just comes down. That game's come down to the defense and special teams. Obviously, because they won 13-10. But yeah, like just like Matt, I'm up for 4. I mean, I picked the Packers. Like I think we all did.
We all picked.
We did.
But like after Ed does his take, I want to ask a question about Aaron Rodgers about like what's next steps because I know he said he's gonna talk with Team Brass in the offseason, talk with them, and what does that mean to y'all? So,
I mean, we're here right now. He just brought it up. Like we might as well hit it. We had it on the list.
Well, yeah. Well, my question was
apparently my take's not important to Maz.
I mean, I want to hear what you saw from this game, but within your take, hit me with Rodgers' future.
Yeah. So the question, the question was like, so I think in his statement he said that he was gonna in the offseason he's gonna take some time. He's gonna talk with the Green Bay first before he makes it. So I wanted to see your take, about like what does that mean? He's gonna go to the team best first. Like, does that mean that's good for Aaron? He's coming back, or Do you think he's leaving?
All right, so this Aaron Rodgers situation has always been a little funky. I personally don't think Aaron has ever really had a great relationship with the Green Bay front office, even since he was drafted. He had to sit a few years behind Brett Favre. His NFL career kind of got off to a slow start before he went on won the Super Bowl his first year as a starter. I mean, it's gotten a little bit better, but I mean, these last few years it has just tanked. They have not surrounded him with the best weapons outside of Devontae Adams. He's sort of been carrying that franchise for the last 10 or so years. So I think Aaron Rodgers is starting to this last offseason, I should say, was the one where he was starting to see, all right, maybe I should start to look towards another team. This was his last year. I think this was Green Bay's last year. This was their title year because they have a lot of free agents leaving this year, and they're not going to be able to sign back every one of them. So Green Bay is going to be in a tough spot. And if Aaron Rodgers leaves, you could tell Green Bay is going to be last place in the NFC North next year if he leaves. They might get 4 wins next year if he leaves. He carries that franchise. And Aaron Rodgers knows this too. So he's going to be taking that into his bargaining agreement with the Packers. He's going to say, yo, pay me this money for X amount of years. And if you don't, your team's going to suck. So Aaron Rodgers definitely has the upper hand in these negotiations. And personally, I do kind of wish to see him somewhere else. I think there are other – I mean, him and LaFleur make a great connection, don't get me wrong. But there are other teams that could be a greater fit. Like, imagine him in San Francisco instead of Jimmy. That would be crazy. I mean, he had Debo, he had Ayuk, he had George Kittle as targets to throw to instead of freaking Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Andrew Lazard, bro. Yeah, I just think Aaron Rodgers needs a little bit of a change of scenery. Just give him a few more weapons. I think he can get over the top.
I mean, I would say the Saints, but now we have breaking news that freaking
Sean Payton just blew up that team and left.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like they do have him and Matt LaFleur do have a strong relationship, but I mean, I think that I think like you said, like I think this was their championship year. Like everyone had high hopes on them. I mean, I think. That's our question because Tom Brady and Aaron, they're both neck and neck with the MVP. So I mean, maybe it's Aaron Rodgers MVP year, maybe not. Maybe Tom Brady's gonna take it, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he's. I mean, obviously his buddy Aaron Jones is gonna follow him wherever he goes. So that team's gonna, But so you like you don't have faith in Jordan Love, or do you think they'll go up?
The kid's got talent. Don't get me wrong. The kid's got talent. But what I've seen from him in the few starts that he made is he just looks a little tentative. He looks scared. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's his first start, and he's just learning. But he's also now third-year pro? This is his third year in the league or second year? Second year. This is his second year in the league. So he should be somewhat adapted for sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a season. I mean, you come in a game against Kansas City, who had looked terrible that entire season up to that point. They were the lowest ranked defense in football at that point in the season against the pass, and he did not do anything against them. So Jordan Love, I see the talent. He's got the arm. I think he's got the IQ. Because he was making great decisions when he was playing against the Chiefs. That's what I saw. He was making great decisions. It's just that. I just think he plays a little scared, and that's the only issue I got.
Yeah, before Brandon and Matt say their takes, I mean, like what I got from that post game, he said he does not want to rebuild, so he might.
Why would he? He's 39.
Yeah, but that's what he's. And I quote, he said, "I'm not with the rebuild," so that'll be another factor in his decision. So I think he's gonna leave. So because I mean, like you said, if he leaves, then if they're without the option, they might have to go to the draft. They might have to just do a rebuild. So, I mean, go ahead, Maz.
Yeah, well, here's the problem, right? I mean, here's what would you rather have? Obviously, a 39-year-old quarterback who's coming off of an MVP season for the regular season, or would you rather restart the rebuild right this second with Jordan Love? I mean, you got to make that decision as an organization. If you don't think that you can win championships with Aaron Rodgers right now, with the current roster that you have, then obviously you blow it up. We'll see what they decide. I think he's going to make the decision for them on whether or not he's going to get up out of there or if he wants to stay. The problem with it is I think he's done. I think that he had he had offensive weapons, man. I mean, he had a great running back, a great wide receiver, and it just wasn't enough to get it done. I mean, obviously a team is more than that. I just don't trust Green Bay's front office giving him the tools that he needs to succeed outside of that. So for me, I personally see him going to greener pastures. I think he's from California. I don't think he wants to be up in Green Bay, especially when he's not feeling the whole situation that's going there with management. Actually see him going to the Raiders, who have the cap room to not only bring him in, and they could also bring in his boy, Devonta Adams. So I think if he goes, I think Adams doesn't want to be a part of that rebuild. I think they're both going to be dipping. Whether or not they go to the same place, I don't know, but I think the Raiders could make it happen, especially when you get rid of Derek Carr off the books with it. Now, that's an interesting thing. I mean, Aaron Rodgers not having to play in the cold, just playing in that dome. I mean, completely different atmosphere. He might be even better than what we're accustomed to seeing of him. Maybe he even has some better playoffs moving down if they're getting home field advantage, because you don't have to deal with the elements with it. I definitely see Aaron Rodgers wanting to get out of there. I could see him going to San Francisco. And if I'm San Francisco or Oakland, I'm jumping at the chance to get
Las Vegas.
Guys. My bad. Wow, that was bad. I can see him going to Las Vegas or San Francisco, because the guys that they have right now, I just don't see them getting it done. They're not championship quarterbacks in my opinion.
I mean,
if Jimmy Garoppolo wins a championship, it's not going to be because of Jimmy Garoppolo.
And also, you got to remember that San Francisco drafted Trey Lance 3rd overall this year, so they have a lot of let's just say draft potential.
I mean, I would say Raiders too.
But here's the thing, though, right? He's still young. If you bring in Aaron Rodgers and you have Trey Lance sit under Aaron Rodgers for a little bit,
but also you're going to waste his entire rookie contract pretty much, and he's not going to play it down.
Yeah, but he might take that just to get that experience, because he knows I'm going to be there.
He wants to play, bro.
He's going to be looking to be a franchise quarterback, man. They took him high. This kid didn't even play D1. He played D1 AA, for crying out loud. They took the shot at him. They see something great in him, but they're looking to win a championship right this second. So that is a situation where you bring in Rodgers. Hey, I can go compete for championships right now, and my rebuild already has a cornerstone to move forward. That is a great situation if they pull the trigger.
I would say Oakland too. I mean, I don't think they have a coach.
Las Vegas.
I'm sorry.
I gotta be honest, dude. The guy who's there right now, the interim, he's been getting it done, dude.
They're not gonna bring him back.
They should, though. That he is so deserving of it. I mean,
how many times have we seen an interim head coach do so good for a season and then get brought back and suck? Freddie Kitchens.
But how many people were going up against what this guy was going up against? I mean, you had the Gruden situation. You had the Henry Ruggs situation. It's just been nothing but chaos there in Oakland. And the guy's been
Las Vegas.
My bad. I can't get it right today. That should just be a fine, honestly. I'm so sorry. But, man, as I was saying, it's like they really need to give Rick
Ray Bisaccia.
Thank you, Rick I can't say
Ray Bisaccia.
Thank you. Ray Bisaccia. The chance, man. God, I'm just fumbling the ball here tonight, so I'm gonna pass this off. But this guy's the guy for me, bro.
I want to let Matt get in on this.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Well, I think he's gone too. But I want to say, do we all agree that this was probably Aaron Rodgers' worst loss of his career? Did we all?
The Giants won. The Giants won in was it 2011?
I think his worst loss was when they go for it on like 4th and 1, like.
No, that was last year.
This is one of them. This is definitely in his top 3. I think it's his worst, just off the fact he won back. He's probably going to get back-to-back MVP. All the stuff, the fake vaccinations, the whole everything he's been through, what the expectations we had for him, and the round he lost. And who would have thought Aaron Rodgers would go out in the first round? Like after all that, I just think this is his worst loss. I think he has to get out of there. I think he should have left last year, but. The places that I have in mind, I don't see him going to San Fran because Jimmy Garoppolo is looking like he's going on a Super Bowl run, and it's going to be hard to get rid of him if he wins it. Trey Lance, I think if they do move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, like you said, they drafted Trey Lance high. I think you have to start to get him reps. I don't think he wants to sit. He damn sure didn't want to even sit underneath Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think, even though Aaron Rodgers is miles ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo, he can definitely gain some wisdom there. I just think Trey Lance is ready to start, and I believe San Francisco is moving the direction of Trey Lance if they're going to move on from Garoppolo. But I do see potential for Aaron Rodgers going to, like you guys said, Las Vegas. But I see him. What about him going to Pittsburgh? Ben Roethlisberger's last season. Steelers have a great young defense, nice core, good receivers. The offensive line is not the best, and that would be concerning for Aaron Rodgers. I think they have to get that whole line buffered up a little bit. But I think Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers would be a pretty decent move.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
One thing, just off topic real quick. We didn't give Deebo Samuels enough love, man, when talking about that game. We didn't show him. That man does everything he needs to do. He can be a receiver, running back. Yeah. He's just one of the most unselfish players in the league. Whatever they ask him to do, he just comes through for them. But like I said, I think he would be a good Aaron Rodgers would be a good fit on the Steelers.
But here's the problem with the Steelers is that they've already said that they don't think that they're going to be looking to make a splash in free agency at the quarterback position. I see them looking towards the draft, and Mike Tomlin obviously is a great coach. It's a pretty good organization, man. I mean, they got a couple of championships going down there. You know what it is.
All right, so Aaron Rodgers his days may be numbered here in Green Bay, but going on to the next playoff game in our divisional recap, Rams-Bucks, the first game of Sunday. Wow. Might I have to say, Chiefs-Bills is close. This might be a tie for the best game of the weekend. This game was crazy. I mean, it was looking like a blowout early. The Rams at half were up 20-3, and it was looking like it was over, but and I think they took another touchdown up 27-3. But when you have the GOAT on your sideline, no game is truly ever over. The Bucks came all the way back, tied the score with a minute left, and then Cooper Kupp made the catch of the divisional round, and Matt Gay sent the Rams to the NFC Championship game, 30-27 final. What a game. Jay, you're going to start this one.
Yeah, that game was crazy because I missed the first couple minutes of the game, and all of a sudden it was like 10-3. Then I went to go get a little snack, and it was like 20-3. But like that game was just like when Tom Brady so the thing that separates like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers when it comes to talent is like you never can give with the great quarterbacks, like you can never no matter if it's like 14 seconds, 12 seconds, 20 seconds, or a minute, like these quarterbacks will find a way to come back. So Tom Brady, there was memes of him with the bloody lip, getting tackled by Aaron Donald and stuff, and I was watching it, and Tom Brady, he was poised, and all of a sudden this Max Stafford had that clutch throw to Cooper Kupp. The game was crazy. Obviously my pick was wrong because I went for the GOAT, but overall that was probably one of the second best games of the week.
Quick mention. I lost $5. The Rams did score more than 12 points, so $5 has been put into the fine jar. All right, Matt.
That's right.
Give your take here. You're on mute. I said Matt.
Boy, that's a fine. That's $1. Hit him with it. Waiting on that.
What type of rule? Who put that rule in the book?
We've had it, man. Stop acting like you a rookie here.
Yo, man, you said the D word two. Yo, like you said, damn, 2 times. That's $2, man.
Who, me?
Although you said cursing,
that
counts as cursing.
Nah, come on.
Nah, he's good with the damn. He's good with the damn.
Come on.
Bro.
It's PG-13 audience.
Yeah, you still getting it for that mic being on mute though, bro. Don't even try to make us forget about that.
I'll take that L.
Yeah,
but this hold on. This Rams in the first half of that game, the Rams played exactly how I thought they would play. It transpired exactly how I figured it would. Like I said, going into this game, I did pick the Rams. It was no question in my mind. I'm actually surprised it got that close in the end. The Rams were making mistake after mistake after mistake. It really should have been like a 20-point win, if we're being honest. If it wasn't for the fumbles, the turnovers, and all that stuff, they literally had the perfect. What did I say this entire time before the playoffs even started? The Rams have the most balanced team in the NFL. Offense, defense, special teams. They have the most balanced, the most star power. And then they brought on Odell on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So what did I say? Their defense and their game plan, what they're able to do is literally Tom Brady's weakness. We've seen him struggle against teams who can rush forward and play man and play back in the deep zone, not giving up the large play. Against we've seen him struggle against the Giants in the Super Bowl twice. We saw him struggle against Von Miller and that Broncos defense. Whenever you can play man and rush forward and can generate pressure against Tom and get him off his spot, it's looking really good for you because that is literally his biggest weakness. I have been the biggest Brady fan, and I saw this coming. We saw the Rams play them twice before this game, and they won both times. And it wasn't even really close either time. Well, the first time I think it was closer, but that last one, it wasn't even close. And like I said, the only reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got back into this game was because of their defense. All right, Tom Brady did execute when he got the possession and with good field position, but that defense, man, that defense is what brought them back into this game. Odell Beckham had a fantastic game. I know the odds maker said that he wouldn't have more than 45 yards. If I'm not mistaken, he had around 60 with 6 targets, with 6 receptions, actually. He played well. Cooper Kupp, for the life of me, that had to be the most idiotic defensive call in that last possession. Why in the world? See, I almost cussed. I may need to give me a cuss button like Maz. Why in the world would you blitz with that few amount of time remaining on the clock against a quarterback with that level of arm? Matt Stafford has a cannon. We always say he may not have playoff success before this, but we all know he's one of the most talented quarterbacks. Yes, he makes turnovers sometimes, but his arm talent is exceptional. Why in the world would you all you had to do was literally just play cover 3, drop everybody back, watch the middle of the field. What do they have? One timeout? I don't even remember how many timeouts.
I gotta disagree.
You think it's better to blitz?
No, I'm saying I didn't. Here's the problem. Cooper Kupp ran right past Antoine Winfield Jr. as if it was just like he wasn't even there, dude. Like he literally watched him run right past him when he knows he's the last line of defense. I mean, dude, for crying out loud, like foul him, do something. Like he was literally just watched him just blow right past you on that touchdown. It was a joke. Are you kidding?
It wasn't
me?
a touchdown. It was just a big
play.
play.
My bad. Yeah.
I know they had blitz. I think it was a mid blitz. It was a mid blitz. I know the Tampa Bay came out in a mid blitz.
I see the logic. You got to bring some pressure.
Yeah, you gotta bring the pressure. I mean, what are you gonna do? Just sit back and just let Stafford just find something? Because, dude, it's not the greatest secondary. Something's bound to break down. You brought the pressure. Something already broke down, for crying out loud. I mean, literally, Kupp. It should have been a touchdown. That's why I said it was. My bad. I watched the play. Literally blew right past him, dude, as if like he wasn't. The guy might as well have just been in quicksand right there. Shout out to him to Winfield for having the closing speed. But that was the play of the game right there, and it wasn't even a great play. Kupp ran right past him on that little seam route, and boom, Stafford hits him because a safety just getting caught in nowhere land, just doing everything but paying attention. The guy was doing his groceries list the entire time when he was running past him. He didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Aaron Donald, man. Aaron Donald had a phenomenal game. He was so good that all the guys around him were having better games because of it. I saw a little analysis from Collinsworth while the play was going on. He said Leonard Floyd has a sack right now because they're like almost triple teaming Aaron Donald right now. Aaron Donald, he's just been a man on a mission. I just think he needs to get a Super Bowl. I mean, he got the win tonight, but Aaron Donald needs a Super Bowl, man. That's one player in the league right now that I think just needs one.
He could get it right now here, too. I've been saying Jared Goff wasn't the guy. I was worried about Matt Stafford coming to this team because the injury history and the age and stuff, but Matt Stafford is proving, give me weapons, I'll get the job done. Matt's right. By far, the most balanced team, at least left in the playoffs, that's for sure. I could see them going all the way here if that defense comes and performs the way that they did. Yeah, they shut the goal. I mean, listen, the Bucs only had a field goal the entire first half. That's the biggest problem with this is that the Bucs couldn't get going early. Tom Brady almost got him back into it, but it just wasn't enough in the left to go. If they
And
get going early, different game.
And speaking of Tom Brady, the game was over, and many of the pundits have been sort of thinking, is this it for the 44-year-old quarterback? And post-game remarks, he made a couple of hints. He gave a couple of clues alluding probably to a maybe retirement, but I just want to talk to you guys real quick. What do you think? Is this it for Tom Brady?
He's coming back.
He's coming back. He's gotta.
I mean, this is the first time he's really pondered it. I mean, he said he quoted Kobe in his post-game press conference saying, like, you don't have that much time left. Like, you gotta know when to hang it up or when to, like, sort of, know when to quit, or you don't know how long you're gonna be playing this game, which it gave me some of the vibes like, oh man, that this might be it. But I mean, if you guys think he's not going, what do you guys say about it?
I would say, go ahead. I'm gonna let Jordan go. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, I think he made another post today on Instagram, just thanking the Buccaneers, for the season and what they've been through, whatever. And I don't know, like even the announcers that were covering the game, that game were like, it's kind of eerie, like how like the news kind of like were circulating around the league about like Tom Brady, couldn't be this last year. I don't know. I want him to play next year, but I don't know. Like, it's the thing about family, his wife Giselle, because like I think he quoted that like his wife doesn't like him seeing getting hurt or getting tackled like that, and that to kids and father time. So I mean, I don't know. I want him to come back, but he's a lot of factors, about. But I think knowing him, he's coming back. And then Gronk made a post today, so like year 11 is gone or is in the books, year 12. So he might come back with Tom, but who knows, man? So I think it's kind of crazy how like both quarterbacks. I mean, I know Aaron's not talking about retiring, but I know both quarterbacks are kind of like in the news about like if it's our last year or not or whatever. So I mean, it's kind of odd, but I mean, I think he's coming back, but it's kind of like I don't know, because like what he's been saying is kind of like quoting Kobe and quoting all the other things, and it's kind of like maybe he needs some time.
Yeah, but here's the thing, yo. I mean, I can't even fault him right now for like this loss. Godwin goes down, right? No Godwin for the playoffs. Antonio Brown has his outburst, leaves the team. I mean, if he just had AB in this game, I think it's a different story, to be honest with you. I think they'd be able to get going faster. He had some options here. I mean, you have Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski's been his, the security blanket for years. Fournette had a decent game, but I don't know, man. If they're a healthy Bucs team on offense, I think they beat this Rams team, to be honest with you. And I think it's completely different. I think he's going to give it one more chance. It's going to be a healthy team. I think, Gronkowski's been in that talk too about stepping away. I think it's going to be completely up to Tom. We know that he's got the great relationship with like his wife. He wants to spend more time with the family. There's nothing wrong for that. But I just see him going out on one more, just kind of a last ride. I think if he comes back, it is the last season, but I think he's just going to give it that one more shot and try to go out with one more Super Bowl. And if he gets it, I mean, it's already the greatest career of all time. He just cements it again.
And Matt, you're our Tom Brady guy. Do you really think this is it for him, or do you think he's going back like Matt says?
That's two fines. Hit him with it. Another dollar. Thank you to contributing to the charity that will be named later down. What's up?
I'm about to just stop putting it on mute in a second.
That is what it is, bro. But, I just appreciate your contributions.
But anytime is you can donate to a charity, it's a good thing. But I'm not even concerned. Even before the comments or after the comments, rather, I know he's coming back. Tom Brady isn't retiring after a divisional loss, especially in a game. I believe if his team was fully healthy or his offense was fully healthy, they win that game and pull it out due to the mistakes and turnovers the Rams did towards the end. Yes, I think this is probably the most Tom Brady has considered retiring. I think this is the most like he actually thought about saying, okay, what are my options? What do I really want to do? Like you guys said, family. His kids are growing up right before his eyes. He has a kid that just turned 14, about to go into high school, or maybe he just had his freshman year. He has another son that's like 12, a daughter that just hit 9. So he hasn't really been in his kids' lives. I'm sure he's missed a lot of recitals, games, all that good stuff. His wife, like you guys mentioned, they don't she cringes every time he gets sacked. I know she's probably been wanting him to come home for like the last 5 years. Like ever since that Philadelphia Eagles loss, like she probably wanted him to come home. But I just don't see Tom Brady going out like that. A divisional exit and a game, I believe that if his offense was healthy, he would have pulled it out because he almost did it. He didn't get a chance to. He never got the ball back. If it wasn't for that epic collapse by the defense, I still don't understand why they play man. I have to disagree with y'all. It just didn't make sense. But I think Tom Brady's going to come back for another year. I was going to say 2, but after his last remarks, I'm starting to think he's just going to come back for 1. I know he mentioned wanting to play until he's 45. And if I'm not mistaken, he would turn 45 if he played next season. So I think he got 1 more season, maybe 2, but I think 1 more definitely. And then the GOAT's going to ride off in a sunset with at least 7 Super Bowls, probably 8, but he's definitely going to have 7 of the things. Retire. He's definitely the GOAT. I don't want to hear nothing about no Aaron Rodgers. He shouldn't even be in a conversation any longer. It's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT.
All right, so Tom Brady's 2-year contract just expired with the Bucs. We'll see what new developments come from that. But the final game.
And plus, can they keep some of some of those players like Godwin and like the contracts and stuff? Like that's a good question too with the whole cap space and shit. So that's a fine. So.
That's a fine, B.
So going on to the last game of divisional weekend, it was in Kansas City. The Bills and the Chiefs. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure we're going to keep seeing this matchup from year in and year out in the AFC playoffs. We saw it last year in the AFC Championship game. But wow, this game was everything we wanted it to be and more. We thought we couldn't get in any other better game from that Bucs-Rams game, but they came out and they were firing all cylinders. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown. Gabriel Davis, 8 receptions, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns. There was 3 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes. Just offensive explosion from both sides. This game was exciting. Chiefs ended up taking the game in overtime, 42-36. But I'm going to send this one over to Maz to start this one off.
Who the hell is Gabriel Davis, bro? Where did this kid come from? Like, what? Kid, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that 1 touchdown, the defender definitely fell down. He got a little lucky there, but nonetheless, kid had 4 touchdowns on the days. He's doing something right. It was just 201 yards. I don't know who this kid is. I never heard of him before this day. That's how out of the loop I am right there when it comes to the Bills options. Because, I mean, dude, they have Stephon Diggs. They have Cole Beasley. Like, Diggs didn't really do nothing until that 2-point conversion. The Chiefs did a good job at shutting him out of the game. But Josh Allen, wow. If Patty Mahomes was doing work, don't get me wrong, and he is a magician, but Josh Allen really put the team on his back. It wasn't enough because of the damn overtime rules. But, oh, man, I'm feeling for Bills fans all over the place. My father's a diehard Bills fan, watched 4 Super Bowls go down low, and he just was not sold on Josh Allen until he saw that performance because he just doesn't trust the Bills organization. But he was like, wow, I think anybody that watched that game looked at Josh Allen and went, this kid's the real deal. We've been knowing he's the real deal for quite some time now, but oh man, if the defense, I gotta be honest, you want to talk about decisions on going with some play styles like Matt was talking about with going with the blitz and then the man, that zone coverage when they just needed to stop them from getting into field goal range. I mean, they're playing prevent defense, but the entire middle of the field's open for Patty Mahomes to drive down and just hit it right in the middle of the field. I mean, come on. It was just wide open. I got to question that. They should have just been playing cover 3 and covering the entire middle of the field so that doesn't happen. Obviously, I think that's where you drop an extra defender back because there's just too much ground to gain. Patty Mahomes not going to go the entire field like that. But this was hands down probably the most exciting game we've seen in a long time. And that's coming off of that Bucs game, which had a crazy ending in it too, with the Bucs almost coming back and winning. But there's just some things I got to question. I mean, obviously that coverage, and every time they got pressure, the Bills got pressure on Patty Mahomes. The defenders are trying to jump up and swat him whenever he's doing those little pump fakes and he's taking off. I mean, dude, you're not going to swat it regardless. You have nobody in between you and Mahomes. After the second one, I would have just started hitting him, even if it was a flag. I mean, just hit him. You get a hit on there, maybe you rattle him a little bit, and he's not taking off. At the very least, he's not taking off and killing you from all angles. But Patty Mahomes is a bad man, and he's going to be around for a very long time. I just hope the Bills can sustain their capability to compete with the Chiefs, man. This was an exciting game. I wish NFL games were like this every time.
All right, Jay. So what do you guys say about this?
Is the candidate to be the probably one of the greatest playoff games of all time, but I can do a hot take on another topic about that because I mean I got the Ravens playoff with Denver with Joe Flacco. But I got some context though. I mean that could be another hot take debate about one of the, but with my analysis, it was a very, very good game. I saw a report that on that play that Kelsey had, they were talking about on the sidelines how like Kelsey had a set route, but the route that won him the game, I think it was like a slant route, but he ran the other way. It wasn't he didn't go off the playbook play, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean it was back and forth. It was like so many lead changes. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, like Maz is right. I think Mahomes is going to be there for a very long time, and
Josh Allen.
So yeah, but I mean, like Stephon Diggs, he was kind of quiet. All their like top receivers are kind of quiet. I know Beasley was kind of like a little quiet. But I mean, it was back and forth. Like in the fourth quarter, it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I kind of had my say on the overtime rules, but like everyone else, I feel like I personally believe that each team should have one chance to score on offense, and then one chance to score on the other team, and then if they don't score on either thing, and then it should go like the next score should win, just like college. I mean, that's a whole another debate. But yeah, like it is what it is. Casey had the ball with the last second chance, or with the last shot. They took it. They took advantage of it. But hell of a game.
All right, Matt. You saw that game.
I made sure I'm off mute.
There
All
you
right,
go.
so I did pick the Chiefs to win it, and it actually played out how I thought it would. The Bills, to me, were the more well-balanced team on both sides, but I figured that the Chiefs' offense was just too high-powered. Patrick Mahomes wasn't going to get stopped, and I just figured that he would just put up more points in a shootout against Josh Allen, and that's pretty much how it played out. This game was absolutely great from start to finish, especially the last 2-3 minutes of that fourth quarter, man. Back-to-back touchdowns is insane, especially the length of the fields that both quarterbacks had to travel to get in the end zone with that little time is amazing. I think Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen is going to be the new Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. I know Joe Burrows may have something to say about that, but these two teams have already faced each other in the AFC Championship game, and they know each other well. The Patrick Mahomes has blocked Josh Allen now twice. I just think that the rivalry has already been established between these two young elite quarterbacks. And Joe Burrow is on the rise, but I just think presently constructed right now is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the AFC. I think that's the new Brady-Peyton rivalry right there. But as far as the game, I'm actually not surprised how it played out. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a shootout. Both quarterbacks played great. But what I want to talk about is Patrick Mahomes' level of maturity. I remember back when he was maybe not his rookie year, but his first 2 years, he would always try to look for the deep shot, the dagger. You know what I'm saying? He always wanted the big play. And that actually was used against him in that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay because they knew that Kansas City had no rushing attack. They had no threat on the ground. All they did was sit back and play cover two and then not let Tyreek Hill get over the top. That was the game plan. And that was actually Mahomes' biggest struggle because teams figured that out. They copied the Buccaneers game plan and just sat in cover two, didn't give anything up over the top, and just forced Mahomes to make decisions that he wasn't accustomed to making. But I'm seeing the growth with Patrick Mahomes, especially from the second half of the season till now. He's starting to take the underneath route more than ever in his entire career. he sees it now. He knows that they're playing cover 2. He knows that they're dropping all the DBs back because they're worried about Tyreek's speed. And he's taking the shorter route. He's taking the McCole Hardmans. He's taking the quick slants. He's taking the underneath routes to the running back. He's scrambling more than I ever seen him scramble. He's just playing more poised and more mature. He's not forcing the ball down the field because I feel like that's what was his weakness. He was so concerned about making the big play that it actually was used against him. But now he's playing way more mature, and he's taking instead of trying to make the big play, he's making the right play like Brady-esque. So I have to give him a praise in that regard.
Yeah, but also don't forget that the Kansas City Chiefs spent their entire offseason on revamping that front line and making it the best that it could be. That might be the best front line in the NFL. I mean, they drafted they drafted high with their first round pick. They took a lineman. Then they traded and ended up getting the guy from the Baltimore Ravens. And then they get the guard over from the Patriots. That's why Patty's able to do more. I mean, he's already been an electrifying player, but when he has the time, forget about it. The biggest problem was that Tampa Bay, with that front line that they had in the Super Bowl, was blowing past that corpse of a Chiefs line, and Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. And it's like, hey, we know he can create things and extend plays, but imagine what he could do if we just focus on the line. That's exactly what they did. And it's just going to be a problem for years, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Maz. That O-line is definitely revamped. But you have to remember that he still played in that first half of the season. He wasn't looking right. He was definitely struggling against teams going to that cover 2 defense that I mentioned earlier. But can we talk about Stephon Diggs? Because in their last meeting, when they lost in the AFC Championship against the Bills, that man stayed after the game and just stared at the field for who knows how long, but 20 minutes, 15 minutes, just thinking about all the pain and hurt. I thought he was going to come out and be angry, have one of his best games of career. That man stared at the field to come back the following year, which was last night. But not last night, but this recent game. And what do you have, 7 yards? I couldn't
shut down. That's why Gabriel Davis had a big day.
Exactly. I don't know if he was getting double majority of the game. I didn't really pay attention to the cornerbacks and the matchups on that side, really. Because I was just so caught up in the passing. But I don't know if he was getting double most of the game, but he just did not show up. He did not have that game. Like I said, the way he was acting after that AFC Championship loss, I thought he would come out with a vengeance, man. I'm just a little disappointed to Stephon Diggs' play.
You disrespectful. You disrespectful. Dude, come on. I mean, the guy got clipped. It is what it is. He's still an elite wide receiver. I mean, these things happen. Maybe if they had some other options to go to on offense, maybe they wouldn't just be focusing on him the entire damn time. It is what it is. I'm giving Stephon a pass for that. You can at me if you got a problem with that, but I don't know, man.
I just think it's hilarious how you remember the cinematic photo with him staring at the confetti, and he just comes out the following year, just
comes out the following year, and that's the only thing that they got to worry about. And then Josh Allen put things into his own hands, and it wasn't enough because the defense, just didn't have enough left in the tank. Hey, go ahead.
All right, so fantastic game, 42-36, rounded out probably the best divisional round of football I have ever seen. So we are going on to the conference championship this week. 2 big games on the itinerary. I want to get the boys' predictions on it. So first up, 3 o'clock Sunday, AFC Championship. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, coming off 2 impressive wins in the playoffs, have to face this red-hot Kansas City Chiefs team after the big overtime win against the Bills. So first prediction, we're going to do the round table again. I'm going to start with Jay if we do the first prediction.
Yes, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because no one.
Boy, I told you about running up in them hands. That's another fine. Thank you. Flag on the play. Next, that's $1. Keep it moving.
No, my hands. No cap. My hands are kind of like.
I know, bro. It is.
Anytime Jay gets fined, you gotta do it.
Yeah,
he was doing.
There's always an excuse, Jay. Just take it like a man.
They
bro.
ashy,
Just
man.
take it like a man, bro. I understand, bro. Ashiness is a real problem out here, bro. Get you some cocoa butter, man. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life.
No, I
Cocoa
got
shea
some,
butter,
but
man.
I'm
Cocoa
not.
butter.
Common knowledge
outstanding.
right there for you. If you ain't on the cocoa shea butter game, you definitely ashy, you definitely itchy, and that's why whenever you hit the winter, you scratching yourself like crazy. Jay, go moisturize. It's good for you. Greatest thing that's ever happened in my life.
So but that's a fine thing because could you just
Good.
advertise
That's
cocoa
right.
butter?
I just
All right,
advertised.
can we get
it
back
is
to
what
the
it is.
prediction, please?
Just the pettiest man on the face of
Anyways.
the planet.
Anyways,
That's the truth.
anyways, I'm picking the Chiefs because I mean they got Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. I mean Burrows. I mean I think it's gonna be close, but I think she's gonna run away with it. I think it's gonna be 27 Chiefs, 20 Bengals.
All right, so 27-20 Bengals is what you said 27-27.
No,
27-20
20 Chiefs.
27-20 Chiefs. All right, so that's Jay's prediction. Matt, what's yours?
This is going to be another close game, I believe. Before I give my prediction, I'm going to say I do believe the Bengals are definitely capable of doing it. They have the level of defense, and we already talked about the offense. They're legit. My gut is telling me the Bengals, but my brain is just saying choose Kansas City. I just don't see Patrick Mahomes getting outplayed. I just don't see him losing in the game of this magnitude. One game from the Super Bowl. I think this is where experience will start to kick in. And Mahomes, we know he's been through this before. He's been there and done this. I think that level of experience, and I just don't see the Bengals getting enough. I think they'll do a decent job with Kansas City's offense, but I don't think they'll dominate, and I don't think they'll do enough to win the game. So I think I have a close one. I'm going to say Kansas City 28-24. Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good game. Joe Burrow is going to have an excellent game. I think he's going to have an even better game than against Tennessee because I don't think the Kansas City's defense is going to generate that same level of pressure that Tennessee did. So I think both quarterbacks are going to have good games. I think the Chiefs defense will play average. I don't think they'll get trampled over. So I got a close game. I got Patrick Mahomes just outscoring the young Joe Burrow, hungry Joe Burrow, 28-24. I got Patrick Mahomes.
All right, Mass.
Dude, this has legitimately been the worst week for predictions for me. Thank God I had no money on none of these games because I would have been broke. I don't even know what to expect from this Chiefs-Bengals game. I just know that I expect it to be high offense. I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback talent, but I think the Bengals are bringing just as much firepower to the field with Joe Mixon coming out of that backfield. They got Jamar Chase, who's still young but still a stud. I mean, I think it could come down to experience. The defenses are pretty close the last couple of weeks. I mean, look what they just did with Tennessee. I don't even know if Matthew's playing, so you know what? It is what it is. I didn't want to go against the GOAT last week, so I'm going to go against Patrick Mahomes this week again, and it is what it is. I'm going with Cincy. I think it's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. I'm saying Cincinnati final score 41-36.
Wow. All right.
Now, if Tyrann Mathieu comes and plays, that's probably just going to blow up my entire prediction, and it is what it is. But either way, I'm already on the losing streak. Might as well keep it going and take the underdog. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you, Baz. I mean, this game is definitely going to be very exciting. I love Cincy right now. I mean, they're two impressive wins. One against that who's it? It was the Raiders. That it was just very weird game. I mean, we had that one weird call on the sideline. Raiders made a nice little attempt to get back into it, but the Bengals defense made a good stop down the stretch. And then you had this game against the Titans where it was just a grinded out game where their defense sort of won it. I mean, I was a little suspect of the Cincinnati defense, if I was being honest. I mean, their secondary, they had Von Bell. They have Eli Apple, who we've seen on Twitter these last few days has been just destroying everyone's fan bases. But this Bengals defense has definitely stepped up to the plate lately. But I don't think it's going to do it against Kansas City. Kansas City just took down Josh Allen, who was having one of the best postseason performances I was ever seeing anyone do. This Kansas City team, if it wasn't going to happen to Buffalo, it wasn't going to happen to anyone else. I think that's what I firmly believe it. I mean, this Kansas City team is just too talented, and they're just red hot right now. I mean, Mahomes is playing out of his mind. Pringle, McCole Hardman, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. That's just so much firepower on the offensive side, just the receiving core. And then you throw in Jerick McKinnon as a receiving threat out of the backfield with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You said we talked about their offensive line earlier. Their offensive line is definitely one of the best in football. And defensively, Frank Clark has come back. And if you said Tyrann Mathieu comes back, the defense is going to be back to up to speed where they need to be. I just think Kansas City is just way more over talented than them. And I just think I think that it's gonna be a high scoring game, like Matt said. I think it's gonna be a scoring fest. So I'm gonna take Kansas City 45.
Wow.
Cincinnati 34.
Yo, but here's the thing. Let me make my case one last time before we move over. If I'm wrong, obviously I'm not surprised, but I'm just saying Josh Allen really wasn't working with much because, it was him. Stephon Diggs got shut down. Gabriel Davis stepped up. Cole Beasley was Kevin Knox was – I don't even know if Kevin Knox even did anything, to be honest with you. We got the Bengals got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Mixon, and Uzama, who all are coming off at the tight end, who's all coming off big games. And this has been a consistent basis, man. I could see them getting it done, especially.
We're not saying it's out of the possibility.
For sure.
It's definitely possible.
It's just that I like them right now for the sole fact of Josh Allen basically was a one-man wrecking crew that game. And I just think they just have so much more talent at a lot more different places than the Bills do. So I like Cincy. I hope they get the upset.
All right, so that should be an exciting game, but on the other side of things, the NFC Championship game is an NFC West divisional matchup. The 49ers, after coming off a 16-13 win, or no, 13-10 win over the Green Bay Packers, face the Rams, who held off the Buccaneers. And it should be exciting. I mean, the 49ers have built an identity with the run and the defense, and that's how they've been winning these playoff games. The Rams are just trying to outscore everybody and just stifle everyone else on defense with their front seven. So it should be a very good matchup. I do think the Rams are going to take this one, though. I'm going to put my prediction up first this time. I'm going to take the Rams over the 49ers, and I'm going to say it's going to be 34 Rams and 16 49ers.
Okay.
All right, so that was my prediction. So I'm gonna pass to Jordan first.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to go with the Rams too, because I think they got more. I think they got more firepower on both sides of the ball. Just like Andrew said, with their front seven with Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Ramsey in the backfield and with the in the cornerback position. And they got, even though Akers had a couple fumbles last game, I think they're gonna practice this week, get the ball get the ball handles under wraps, ball control. And Cooper Kupp, man, I think he's the X factor in this game for sure, because I'm trying to give him his flowers, because he's had a phenomenal season, and he had that perfect route to set them up for the field goal. But yeah, I think my prediction is gonna be 30 Rams. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be 30 Rams, 24 49ers. So by a touchdown.
Yeah, you got a close game here, but I'm gonna throw it to Matt here for his prediction.
This game, honestly, to me, isn't that close. I think the Rams win this one, not easily, but I would say slightly convincingly. I just think it's a bad matchup for the 49ers. What do they like to do? They like to run the ball and establish the run. Good luck doing that against Aaron Donald, that D-line, and Von Miller. Good luck doing that. And then you have to trust Jimmy Garoppolo to be accurate and not turn the ball over against that electrifying Rams secondary, it's just going to be a rough night for the 49ers. I think this game is going to be as close as Matt Stafford allows it. If he doesn't turn the ball over more than once, I think they'll win relatively easy. Now, the 49ers only have given, in the last 2 playoff games, have given up 27 points. So I do think it will be a challenge for Matt Stafford. If Matt Stafford turns the ball over twice or more, it'll make things a lot more interesting down the stretch, I believe. But regardless, I still think the Rams are going to win. It's just the Rams offense is going to, even though the San Francisco defense is amazing, as I just mentioned, I think the Rams offense is going to have better success against the San Francisco 49ers defense than Jimmy Garoppolo will against that amazing, probably the best defense left in the playoffs. So when it comes to who would you rather trust, Jimmy Garoppolo or Matt Stafford, I'm going to go with Matt Stafford, even though Jimmy Garoppolo has taken the team to the Super Bowl. I just believe Matt Stafford has the more electrifying offense. They probably have the same level of defense, maybe an edge to the Rams because their secondary is insane. So I'm going to say Rams 28-17. 28-17.
All right, so 28-17, the Rams for Matt. So, Matt, you're the last person up here. Give your prediction.
Yeah, I'm basically just gonna give you a little more in depth of what Matt said, just for the sole fact that I agree with everything that he said. I think this was potentially Matt's best breakdown that I've heard of why a team is gonna win. He convinced me completely, and I was agreeing with him going into this. I was a little afraid to follow Matt because I was afraid that Matt was going to steal most of my points here, and he did. So I'm going to just give you a little more in depth. I think going in, we know that the San Francisco 49ers need to establish the run. That's their key to unlocking Garoppolo, hitting that play action, because he's not an elite level quarterback. I'm sorry. He's a game manager, and it is what it is. But this Rams defense, they held the Buccaneers to a total of 51 yards rushing. And the week before, they held the Cardinals to, I believe, 61 yards in rushing. And I just think that they're going to just zone in on that. They're going to take away the run, and they're going to force Jimmy Garoppolo to beat them. I do not trust Jimmy Garoppolo to get this done against this Rams defense. I think Matt Stafford, although hasn't played in a Super Bowl, I just think he's a better talent. I think he's more poised as a quarterback. I think he brings more to the game that Jimmy Garoppolo is capable of bringing. And it sounds like I'm being a little harsh, but it is what it is. The guy just has not, quite frankly, impressed me any way whatsoever. And it is what it is. This Rams defense is going to be basically the reason why Jimmy Garoppolo kind of gets exposed. And I think it's going to be, I think that the San Francisco defense isn't going to give up that many points. I actually see this game being relatively low scoring compared to the other one for sure. And that's why I see the Rams winning this one. I'm going to say 24-17 in favor of the Rams.
Yes. All right, so a little bit low scoring this one. So it should be a great conference championship game weekend. 4 teams remain in the NFL. Only 2 can go on to Super Bowl Sunday. So we'll just see about that. But moving on, we're going to hit our NBA hour like we always do. We're not splitting this one up into 2 episodes like we did last week. So first up for our NBA hour, we're going to talk a little bit about Russell Westbrook. We talked about him last week, about him getting benched. And it was a rough scene. We were talking about possible trade destinations. But one that really popped out to us was a potential Westbrook Wall trade swap. And I know we got 2 Lakers fans in our little podcast here, so I just want to talk to them first about what they would think about a Russell Westbrook and a John Wall trade.
Bro, honestly, get him out. Ship him right now. I don't hate Westbrook. That's the thing. I don't hate him at all. I'm starting to dislike Vogel a lot. I just think the rotations are just not enough. It's just, I don't know, man. There's just something about this. Westbrook can't shoot the ball. I mean, he has nights like he did in that Indiana game where he went like, I think it was, I want to say like 5 of 7 from 3-point range, but it's just not enough consistency. And that's what this team needs. I think John Wall can bring what Russell Westbrook brings to this Lakers team in terms. I think it actually fits a little better because John Wall is with the injury history and everything. He's not the triple. He's not a former MVP. He's not a triple double leader. I think he just is going to play his role better alongside LeBron James. And now that Anthony Davis is back, I just see it working out better in my personal opinion. I've always think that John Wall shot the three ball better than Russell Westbrook, although it's not like a major difference. It's just slightly better. I just think John Wall can bring everything that Russell Westbrook brings without trying to force too much because we see Westbrook get a little nervous. And I don't want to say nervous because the guy's kind of a killer, but he just tries to take things into his hands a little too much, especially when you got LeBron and now Davis back. You got to be able to trust somebody, man. I just see Wall being a better role player, which is what they need, somebody that knows their role and not trying to do too much, just doing exactly what the team needs. I think John Wall's the move. I'll quite frankly, anybody who can space the floor better and score at the point guard position, I would much rather have than Russ Westbrook. No disrespect. It's just he's kind of got to be the top guy at times, man. And this team just has too many. They got LeBron James for crying out loud and Ant Davis coming back. I don't think Russ is going to be great as a third option. And I was completely wrong. I thought this was going to work out. And it turns out I was completely wrong.
So, Jay, you're the other Laker fan here. Do you think this Russell Westbrook-John Wall trade could work out?
Well, a couple of days ago, I was because I looked at John Wall's Instagram. He was playing pickup with a couple of his boys, looking good, looking like, But think about it. I mean, at first I was on board with the trade, but then I looked at some stats that John Wall hasn't played this year. He played 40 games last year. I mean, he's a phenomenal player when healthy. 100%. He's probably up with De'Aaron Fox, probably one of the fastest point guards in the league when he's fully healthy. He's a better shooter than Russell, a better playmaker, but I mean, health, I'm afraid that if we trade for Russ for Wall, that we see with I don't know what injury he had, but
he had an Achilles, right?
Achilles, right? I think it was.
I know he had an Achilles at some point, but I think he had a recent history after that too. But Jay, it might have been ACL. But Jay, let me ask you a question, bro. Do you think the Lakers can win a championship with their current lineup right now?
No, they can't. But
me neither. So why not just take a shot at something?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love John Wall, phenomenal player, but why would you waste your money on someone who hasn't played in so long and he might get injured again? You know what I'm saying? So and the Lakers don't really have much to give up. They could
Russell Westbrook. That's basically what they have.
I would like to trade for Wall. But then now I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at the longevity of how long he's played. He played half the season for the Rockets last year. Got hurt, hasn't played a game this year. But he looked good in his Instagram videos, playing pickup. But I don't know. I just don't.
But here's the thing, right? Look at that contract that Westbrook's on right now, man. He's on that player option. He's making $44.2 million this season, and he has a $47 million player option. Even if they don't win a championship with John Wall, they at least what's it called? They at least get rid of that awful contract, and it lets them start rebuilding where they need to a lot faster. So I think the biggest thing is just. I don't think we're winning the championship, man. It is what it is. When you have Davis and LeBron both healthy, anything can happen, but they need a lot to happen, and they're all up against better competition than what the team.
I don't think they have any draft conversation because I think they traded that. I think they're still doing the Pelicans with the whole draft.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
So.
But dude, you got to clear up that cap space. You got to get Westbrook out of there. You need to get him out before next season because. Listen, when you playing in LA, when you a fan of LA, it's championship or bust. Ain't nobody care if you make it to the Western Conference Finals. Nobody cares if you if you coming in at the 6th seed and you beat the 3rd seed. We don't care about that. It's championships or bust. And if you ain't going to get that, then start retuning for the next year so this way you can go after them championships.
Yeah, I just think. I mean, I definitely agree that John Wall's a better, space creator. He's definitely a better shooter than Russell Westbrook is. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of scared about the trade. Just the fact that like injury proneness of like game time, game flow. But I mean, I think that like the Lakers picked up Stanley Johnson, terrific defender, terrific defender.
But is it enough?
We still haven't seen Chris Dunn or Chris Nunn. He's still injured.
Kendrick Nunn.
Kendrick Nunn. I think I don't know if he's 100% yet or.
Dude, he's been dealing with the injury bug. I mean, Trevor Ariza's been coming.
So I don't know
back.
why
we're playing Trevor Ariza big minutes for no reason. There's just so many guys that are supposed to be good 3-point shooters this entire.
But I don't think I can blame it all on Russ. Because
no, you can't.
I think it's the front office too. Because why the heck would you trade for a Kendrick Nunn or Kendrick Nunn when he was hurt, knowing he was hurt, you couldn't play.
No, I think
you know what I'm saying.
I don't even know if we traded. I thought we signed him in free agency. Correct me.
I think we picked him up. He picked me, but knowing that, like,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, Matt. And does anybody think that this Lakers team is going to do anything with Russell Westbrook? Not that it's his fault.
No.
It's just he's the only movable piece that has value.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, he hasn't really shown that he could. How should I say? He hasn't really shown that he meshes well with the unit they have out right now, and he's getting too much money to not do that. So, I think he's better off going back to Houston. I mean, he's not gonna really do much there. I think John Wall is a better fit for the scheme, like you guys were saying. And now with Anthony Davis back, they gotta go on a run here now, or this season's lost. Matt, what do you guys say? Matt.
Boy, you just got caught again.
No, my connection was glitching. It's like it got frozen for a second. Is it good?
Yeah, you're good. That's a nice save right there. I'll let that
one slide. For real.
Uh-huh.
But I agree with you guys. I think John Wall would be a better fit for the scheme. But ultimately, I don't think it'll make much of a difference. They're essentially the same player in the same package. Both ball-dominant guards who don't have good shots, jump shots. If you want to make the argument John Wall can stretch the floor a little bit better than Russell Westbrook, I would agree, but barely. I mean, the man hasn't shot above 36% from three besides one time, and that was 2018. So you're not. It's not like you're upgrading to Damian Lillard or an average shooter. He's still a poor shooter. So I mean, if you want to say he's going to turn the ball over less, I do agree with that. But you guys have to remember he has something to prove. I don't think he's gonna gel as well as you guys think he is, as to Maz's point, because he's coming off an injury. He wants to prove that he still has it. I know he's looking to a lot of people have been talking about how he isn't the same type of player. He's fell off. I think he's gonna try and he may come out and force things like Russell Westbrook did because he has so much to prove. And to me, I just want to say this: John Wall to me had probably one of the more disappointing careers, just because of the hype he had coming out of Kentucky. You guys remember him, all the hype, him coming out doing the Dougie. The man made what, 2-3 All-Star games?
Dude was doing the John Wall, bro.
The John Wall. Rappers were dropping bars and name dropping him in songs. He had songs written about him. The man never has he even made it to the playoff. I think he made it to the playoff like twice. He's never really been considered a top 3 point guard ever, especially now that he's older and he's not as fast. I mean, if you want to make,
but is that his fault though?
I think no.
He was on the Wizards. He was on the Wizards, man.
The Wizards.
Jay just said he was on the Wizards. I mean, like, dude, that front office.
He had Bradley Beal, but like, I mean,
how long did he have Bradley Beal for? Too.
A few years. I'm not saying it's all him. I'm not saying that he had he's the sole reason why they make the playoffs. But he didn't carry them either. But I just think
Bradley Beal wasn't doing that thing, bro.
Right,
Bradley Beal was not the same caliber.
I saw John Wall and Bradley Beal live, and John Wall was doing his thing and he was healthy too. Like,
right, but I think the best thing you could do is, as Maz mentioned, if you want to just get rid of the Russell Westbrook contract, then I think sure. But I don't think adding John Wall isn't putting this team above anybody.
No, it's just something like, hey, dude, it might gel chemistry-wise better because he'll know his role. He shoots a better mid-range shot, so it's not much more spacing. He's a slightly better three-point shooter than Russell Westbrook is from deep, but he's a much better shooter than Westbrook from the mid-range. So it does give you more spacing. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to win you a championship. I'm saying I think it could gel better, and then Davis and LeBron are obviously going to be the main reasons if they were to get that far. But nonetheless, even if it don't work out, you still clear up the cap space to move forward with the easier rebuild.
Yeah,
because
so
not many people want to take on that contract, man, especially when he's not putting up all-star numbers right now. Go ahead, Ed.
Or they can kind of do like a three-way trade somehow, like with another team maybe. But I don't know. Like a three-way package. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I don't know how the trade would work out, and maybe Lakers would have to give him some cash considerations. But John Wall, no games played yet this season. We still haven't seen much of him. Last year, he had a down year, but we're going to stick with the Lakers here and going forward. Anthony Davis made his return tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. That game wrapped up a 106-96 win for the Los Angeles Lakers. In that game, in 25 minutes, Anthony Davis had 8 points, only 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 blocks, and 4 fouls. So, not a great game to come back to.
I mean,
Lakers still got the win, but
that first toss to AD for the alley was sick though. Like we missed that. I mean, it's like Klay Thompson, like coming back from an injury. Like it's not like I'm not expecting him to go off like for like 12 rebounds and like 10 assists and 25 points. Like, I mean, yeah, he had 8 points, but I mean, he has to get back to himself. I think he had an
Klay
NCL.
missed 2 seasons. Anthony Davis missed a month.
But still, like you can't just like put all that pressure on AD to go off. Like he missed a month. I know, just a month. But like with any knee injury, like you need to be careful with that. Because I know the ACL and MCL is a different part of the knee. But I mean, still, like, yeah, Klay had more time off with the injury and with the Achilles. But still, like, AD is fragile, man, with the injuries, man. So you can't really expect him to go off like but he needs time to get back with the team. But he's gonna do good, I believe.
I question the minutes, dude. I mean, the dude is
minutes too, yeah.
Dude, you're playing him 25 minutes. I didn't expect him to do much. I'm glad he came back against the Nets, but I mean, they got Claxton, but there's nobody that's really that physical down low for their team. KD's out. This was just a nice little warm-up game to try and get going again. For like if next week he ain't starting to look like himself, yeah, I'm still worried. But once again, I'm questioning Vogel for playing him for 25 minutes. I mean, granted, he still brings a lot of help on the defense, but I don't know, man. I'm so afraid whenever Davis is on the floor because there's always the chance of him injuring himself again. And obviously, you got to utilize him. But I would like to see them start. I mean, like they already do like some load management with him at times. I just think the dude just got back, and I think 25 minutes is a lot to be asking for a guy who is literally Charmin Ultra.
Matt, what do you got to say about it?
I think Anthony Davis, like I said, as Jordan pointed out, I don't think anybody expected him to have a monster game in his first return. I think it's actually harder for him to return and play at that level he was at compared to Klay Thompson, because Klay Thompson was a shooter. Shooters usually recover off injuries faster than players that rely more on athleticism, like Anthony Davis. Even though Anthony Davis is clearly skilled, I think it's going to take him a little more time. I do think. Well, obviously, he's a key factor for this team. He does a lot for them scoring-wise. He's the second option offensively. Defensively, we know what he's capable of. I still have them losing in the play. I still don't have them winning the championship, even with Anthony Davis's return. And I'm going to say this. This may be very controversial. Now, how can I say this? I think Anthony Davis is the best, but also might be one of the worst things that happened to the Lakers of recently. Because I feel like the Lakers probably slightly overrated Anthony Davis. Not as a talent, but what he can do. Because you remember, he was brought to this team to take the torch from LeBron. He was supposed to be better than LeBron this year. He hasn't lived up to this. He's always been glass, like you guys have said. But I think the Lakers semi-overrated him. Because think about it. Whenever he was the first option, look what he did in New Orleans. He had pieces around him, too. With the playoff Rondo, the Boogie Cousins, Drew Holiday. He's had solid players. He never lifted that franchise. He's fragile. I think I might move Anthony Davis within like the next 2 years, if I'm being honest, because I don't think when LeBron's getting older, He's not getting any younger. Yes, he's playing at an elite level. Anthony Davis has proven that he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be a number one option that can carry a team to a championship, especially when LeBron leaves. And he's glass.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. He was the number one option. The only reason why LeBron James got MVP that finals is because Davis was doing work and he iced him out of the game.
Did you see that bubble playoff? Like
that's what we're talking about, man. That's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me finish.
The bubble run.
That's literally what you just – Jay, what are you doing right now, my brother? Anyway, my boy Gabe is the biggest LeBron fan that I know, and he even called me up in the middle of that final. Was like, dude, I don't know what LeBron's doing. He always makes the right play. Davis is on that mismatch down low, and he just won't go to it. LeBron showed the selfishness, man. I think LeBron James cannot get it done without Anthony Davis. The West is just too hard. Obviously, yeah, if Davis can't stay healthy, I'm thinking about shipping him out. And if you're going to do that, you might as well do it sooner than later. But you got to wait until after this run with LeBron. You can't do nothing until LeBron leaves because they complement each other pretty nicely. But I'm calling Davis out right now. He's the only hope that we have in going deep in the playoffs. He's been playing like crap when he was healthy this season. I don't care about the injuries. You're one of the best big mans in the league. Start taking over. We were saying that he was Kobe-esque with hitting those final shots. That's fine. That's the difference between him and LeBron is that he thrives for those last shots. It don't matter. He's got the killer in him. The problem is that he's got a glass framework. Start taking better care of yourself, and you got to pull it together. I'm going to give you this slide on this first game back, but in 2 weeks from now, you better start dominating like the big man you're supposed to be, all right? Because LeBron James has been I've been LeBron James, one of his biggest critics for years now. LeBron James been putting in work for the Lakers as of lately, all right? Still not over the playoff run last year, but he making up for it slowly. But Davis really better get it going, or we just screwed it. It is what it is. And they best be looking at other options because this team just ain't it.
Hey, Ann, speaking of the around Lakers and Nets, I just saw a report, a new report. I know it was on the topics today, but I think it was a new report that Harden, he might test a free agency because he doesn't with the whole Kyrie situation and the whole he don't like living in Brooklyn. What do you think about that? Do you think that they're going to ship him off next? I mean, I know this is not on the topic list, but
we can quickly touch this.
Breaking news.
I mean, we can quickly touch this, but
you're a Nets fan,
James Harden, he's had a good season. I mean, if we're talking about just as a player, he's having a good season. But for James Harden and what we're paying him and what we gave up for him, he's just not really being what we want him to be. I mean, he's 22 points average. He's averaging 10 assists a game, so he's averaging double-double. He's having a good season, but I mean, without KD, he's got to sort of step up, and the Nets have not really looked good since KD's went down. The Nets need to sort of figure out what they want to be, and I think they want to be a team that can drop 130 on a team and come out with a victory. But you saw on Sunday they lost 136-125 to the Timberwolves. Their defense is not there. He doesn't like the way that Kyrie's been playing. To be quite honest, I don't like the way I handle Kyrie right now. Anyway, he's not playing that many games. He's not helping the team win when they're on the road in other cities where they don't allow COVID players. He's getting a little frustrated. He feels like the team's not valuing him as much as the other two, and I don't blame him. The Nets are not going to win the championship this year. I'm saying it right now as a Nets fan. This team does not look like they're eyeing championship goals. They're just looking to keep their big three happy and not worry about what comes along with the big three, and that's winning.
Yeah, I heard that Philly's in the they're going to wait till the offseason and try to get Harden.
I mean, we touched on this last podcast, man.
Yeah.
That if they trade Simmons and Tobias Harris, it's the best move for both teams if the money lines up. James Harden's a former MVP, multiple scoring titles. I mean, he gets it done. He got it. Listen, the Brooklyn Nets don't have much outside of their big three. They got Patty Mills. And that's basically it, in my opinion. I mean, Claxton's showing some signs. And then you got, Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge, whatever. But James Harden still put up 33 tonight. I know the game before he put up 13. It was an awful night, but people have bad nights. At the end of the day, man, he's definitely got to get out of there. As Ant just said, They don't have any defense. Defense helps you win championships. You can't expect to put up 133 points every night, man. It's just better if they get rid of somebody. And you know it ain't going to be KD, so it's got to be Kyrie or Harden. And I think getting Harden out of there is definitely the move, but you got to start looking for pieces. Stop looking for star power. Start looking for depth pieces, because when you have Kyrie and KD, that's a lot of firepower.
Here's the
You need
thing.
more second unit.
I do believe the Nets have been looking to build depth. These last few weeks, they've been testing out some young guys. They've been testing out some G League guys that I really like. I mean, Cam Thomas is one guy I really like. What's his name? Darren Sharp, another guy that they're testing out. These are a few guys that have. I mean, obviously Cam Thomas was the guy they drafted this year, but Darren Sharp was the guy that got in the G League this year. He dropped 20 points one game against the Bulls. I mean, they're testing out young guys, which I like to see, but I don't think that's going to be what puts them over the edge.
Dude, I'm not saying that they need to just go full-blown veteran like the Lakers did, because obviously that's not working out, but they need guys that they can just trust instead of just like looking to like these
And also, what's his name?
young guys, man.
Joe Harris also has setback in his ankle injury, so he's going to be out longer than expected.
Exactly.
So without
dude.
a big offensive threat from the three-point line, they're not going to be scoring as many points as they need to be.
But if you look at him too, man, I mean, that guy legitimately cannot be your second option, dude. He thrives as like a fourth to fifth option kind of guy, because you just kind of forget about him. He's going to nail that open shot. Where if you're looking, it's just there's just too much firepower. It's too many people need the ball. All right. There's too much ego going on right now. There's too much injury going on because the big three have all been down at some point within the last 2 seasons for extended period of times. The experiment didn't work. It is what it is. Move on from it.
At least this time, we're not left with no draft picks like the last time. So, Matt, what do you think from this Harden situation?
Well, you guys know my original stance from last episode. I don't feel 1 ounce of remorse or sorrow for James Harden. He wanted this. He forced his way. What does he think this is? 2K with the forced trade? Like, he thinks any situation where he's not happy, he's just gonna leave. Like, no, we're not doing this. Like, James Harden, you made your bed, you laid in it. You had CP3, you had high level players. I said, like I said, OKC, you get excused for that. OKC was just cheap and they want to pay you $4 million to keep you on the roster. That's unexcusable from Sam Presti.
Nah, bro, didn't they choose Ibaka over that? You said that last time. I thought they only had enough cap to either keep Harden or pay Ibaka, and they chose to go with Ibaka for the interior defense.
It was between those two, but they could have. They also could have got Harden, but Harden wanted an extra $4 million. He wanted more money from them, and they said, "No, we're not going to give it to you. We're going to give it to Ibaka." So
yeah, they're bugging, dude. I mean, listen, You should have paid Harden. I mean, I don't. None of us don't. Anybody sit there and say that they thought that James Harden was going to be an MVP. We did not think that. We did not think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He was a great player for OKC, but it is what it is. And in the age that we live in right now, I'm gonna give him a pass because everybody's jumping teams like crazy. So why shouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, James Harden has definitely been a top 10 player in the NBA for the last, I should say, 6-7 seasons. He's definitely emerged as the top shooting guard for a little bit, has an MVP under his belt, like you said. But this Nets team, it just looks off, you know? I mean, I don't know what else to put it.
It does look off, but I think that they still need time. They've only been together a year and a half. They're acting like they've been together for 5 years, and it just hasn't worked. Injuries. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and injuries was the only reason why they didn't get past this Bucks team. No, that yes, they had their issues. Kyrie not playing the home games. James Harden is talking about how he doesn't want to be there. Kevin Durant just got injured. We still haven't seen enough of them collectively at the same time. I think we need to wait out a little more.
I also just get the impression that Steve Nash just doesn't want to coach anymore. He just looks so fed up every time I watch a Nets game. I just don't think I think he just liked being that like sort of personal trainer role for like KD and everything. He just doesn't, I don't know, demand.
He's not Steve Kerr, bro.
Yeah, Steve Kerr, even though he had the talent, he demands stuff from his players. He demands that you go out there. Steve Nash is like, do whatever you need to do. Like, do what you want. I mean, did you hear Kyrie? You guys are all free spirits. I mean, they're grown men. You got to give them somewhat like a free spirit. But
Nah,
the end
bro,
of the day,
he's
you gotta
managing
coach them.
personalities. He's not
Yeah,
coaching. He's just managing
exactly.
egos,
So
bro.
Steve Nash,
Stop coddling, bro. Put the foot down and lay the hammer. Be like, start playing some damn defense for crying out loud. Dude, how many good coaches do we know that got guys that are just like Kyrie, just like Harden, and got them playing outstanding defense and taking their game to the next level by holding them accountable? Steve Nash ain't doing that. I don't think coaches have ever done that to either one of these players right now. Get your defense up, and maybe you guys could actually get something going. And it is what it is. And I'm 100% with you on Steve Nash not doing enough because he's just coddling everybody. Because quite frankly, you're dealing with 3 fragile egos right now.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I do remember what I don't think Steve Nash is even respected. I mean, what was Kyrie's remarks before the hiring? Even he said, "Oh, we don't even really need to be coached." I mean, that told you everything you needed to know at that point in time. They don't have respect for this man. They just brought him in because they I think they brought him.
why
Brought
don't
him
they?
in.
He's one of the all-time greats, bro.
I know,
He's overrated.
But think about it. Who's better, Irving or Steve Nash? I think most people would choose Irving. KD, I think the big 3, each one of them individually is better than Steve Nash, and that's why they don't respect him. That's why they don't respect him. They feel like, what can you tell me when we're all better than you? You know, I think that's why they brought him in because they wanted that freedom. They wanted
I gotta
to get
disagree
away with
though. I think that's what they might be thinking at times. I'm not disagreeing with you there, but first off, Steve Nash MVPs are the most least earned MVPs I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
Shaq and Kobe could have won either one of those. The fact that Nash has 2, Kobe only has 1, travesty.
Ridiculous.
Don't even get me started with that. But you know, it is what it is. That's history. I mean, Steve Nash, great point guard. Steve Nash was a wizard out there, but could Steve Nash put a team on his back like KD can? Was his MVP season as electrifying as Harden's was? Is he as skilled as Kyrie? I think 2 out of those 3 debates, I don't think he is. I think the closest one is the skills with Kyrie, and that's just because his passing and vision is just so amazing, and he can space the floor. But I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's just craziness going
the
down
Nets
in Brooklyn.
are definitely in some murky waters. As a Nets fan, it's not good to see. But we're gonna start heading over to our next topic, and it's a team that we really haven't talked about much here on the JJL Sports Talk Show, and that is the Phoenix Suns. Wow, like coming off an NBA Finals appearance where most of them said they really shouldn't have been in it. This team has sort of just continued their dominance. They're still the only team right now in the NBA with the single-digit losses. They only have 9 losses right now. And they have 8 players with 40 games or more who are averaging over 10 points a game. Ridiculous. This Suns team is legit, and they, right now, with the Warriors sort of plummeting, are right now the favorites to win the West. And I'm going to start heading over to Maz to start this topic off for us.
Dude, I mean, what can you say? You want to talk about good coaches, man, and that just do it all? Monty Williams, man, so underrated. I thought Monty Williams should have been the coach of the year last year. He didn't get the awards. He got it by the coaches, like the coaches like association, but he didn't get it from like the league, I believe. And he 100% deserved that award. I mean, especially, dude, the Valley Oop. It's like the Mona Lisa of basketball in terms of drawing up a play. That was awesome with Ayton. And here they are getting it done again. And you see the balance. You got the veteran point guard, Chris Paul, just directing traffic out there. The young assassin in Devin Booker. And then you got a young big man in Ayton. And then they bring in JaVale McGee to help deal with the load for Ayton, because we've seen at times, like, he started gassing out, and then they didn't really have a true big man. I mean, they brought in like Saric and Kaminsky, but they weren't just as dominant, where JaVale brings that big man defense. And these guys, no matter who it is, they always have depth getting it done. I mean, Cam Johnson been slinging it in too. So this is just a complete team, and everybody's buying in. This is the same mindset that is lacking in Brooklyn, as we were just talking about. I see them going pretty far. They're the team to beat in the entire league. You know that they're hurting off that last loss with the Bucks, and things not going their way. And nonetheless, here we are. I think Phoenix is coming back on the revenge tour.
Yeah, I just want to go over to Jay, man. you see the Suns a lot, man. Both of you, you and Maz, as Laker fans. Devin Booker's emerged as a big piece in this offense. 24 points per game. I mean, we talk about Chris Paul and his distributing aspect, 10 assists per game. Ayton is a great rebounder, defensive monster down low. How far do you see this Suns team going this year?
1 second.
That's you, big
Yeah,
Jeff.
like I see. I guess I was looking at their stats. I know. I mean, I see them take. I see them going far. Because they have a mixture of. See, this is if you're Frank Vogel or the front office of the Lakers, we should look at the model of the Suns. Great coach. They have a mixture of Suns have a mixture of young and old players. I mean, Jay Crowder is kind of like up there in age, but still can produce. Got Chris Paul, old head, OG, is still dishing out assists like back when he was on the Hornets. Bring back the old days. Booker, still in his 20s. Ayton still in his 20s. Like kind of reminds me of like that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase with the Ayton and Booker. With that connection. So I mean, and plus we have been talking about this like under the rug scandals going on, like keeping that under wraps with the owner. That can be a distraction, but obviously that's not. I think last night they played the Utah Jazz, and I think they had. I think Ayton was out, I believe, and some of their key players were out on both sides, and they still won. But yeah, I see them going far, man. Like you said, and Warriors are kind of struggling. Curry's kind of like on a cold streak right now. So yeah, I see them taking advantage of the West, and like we'll see.
Yeah, I generally do like this Suns team. They're very deep. They got the elements that they need to win: a great coach, great shooting, great rebounding, great defense. That's probably the big four you need. And right now in the West, we were talking a little bit about who we like last week, but I mean, you really think Utah or Golden? I mean, I could see Golden State if they regain their hotness, which eventually is going to happen. But other than the Golden State, I really don't see anyone just beating the Suns team in a 7-game format. Matt, what do you guys say about this?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Ant. I don't see anybody in the West beating them besides potentially the Warriors. I know Utah's a really good team. The Lakers, you can never count out LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis. But I just feel that they're just the most well-balanced team. They literally only have one weakness. They have everything else but a real, and I would say, I don't want to say a lack of interior presence, because they do have Ayton and they just got JaVale McGee. But I've said if you did have to point to a weakness, that's probably their biggest weakness, because look at what happened when they went up against a team that had elite bigs like Milwaukee. They got exposed. They had no answer for that. I think that's the only way to beat them, because look at their guards.
They didn't have JaVale, though.
JaVale isn't stopping it, Giannis. He's not.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you.
I think
If you have JaVale and Ayton down there, now you're talking about some serious bodies that probably could have slowed Giannis down, especially, I mean, JaVale's great at getting blocks. He's a great interior defender. He's not a superstar, but he's 100% if they would have had.
And you're also forgetting about Bismack Biyombo, too. Another great shot blocker.
For sure. I mean, dude, if you have those bodies against, look at why they went and got those two. It was literally like, hey, we might be seeing the Bucks in the finals again. Right. This time we're going to be ready to shut down Giannis, because the team is already good enough to compete out with what they had with the rest of the league. It's just, hey, that was our big problem. Now we got these bodies. I don't know, dude. They play the Bucks again.
Well, we can talk about that. But I just think I think that's, if you had to point out a weakness, I think that's probably still the biggest weakness they have. But if you look at it, they got shooting, perimeter shooting. They're unselfish. You have Chris Paul, and a veteran but playoff experience who gets it done wherever he goes. The team always succeeds. You got Mikal Bridges, he should definitely be in consideration for defensive player of the year, because every player he guards, he clamps. Well, I mean, not literally every game, but we've seen him against Steph. We've seen him against Dame. Whatever guard, high volume shooting guard you want to name, he's covered them. He's done a great job guarding them. DeAndre Ayton is still having a good year. They are literally 10 deep. That's what makes them so scary because they can literally play 10, 11 players deep. If you want to count Bismack Biyombo, they're 11 deep. They really just have everything you're looking for. Unselfishness. You could just tell by how a team gels and the camaraderie that they have. But you can tell that they really enjoy playing with each other. Devin Booker's Devin Booker. He's going to give you 20 to 25 a night. I just think they're the team to beat in the West. But I honestly would still pick the Bucks over them if they met again. Even though they have JaVale McGee, because Chris Paul isn't playing quite as good as he was last season. And I feel that with the Bucks now having a year together with their big three, I still would have the Bucks taking on the Suns because I'm not scared of JaVale McGee. Even though he's definitely a high-energy player, good defensive player, I still don't think it's enough.
Yeah, but good luck with Giannis.
Go ahead, bro.
Good luck with Giannis trying to run through JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. I mean, that was the problem. Ayton was getting into foul trouble, right? Because Giannis is going in there and getting them fouls. He's gonna get wear down going against them, man. I do not trust the Bucks' big three. I don't trust Chris Middleton, streaky, Drew Holiday, elite defender, but where's the offense really been at times? I don't know, man. You got Giannis, but Booker got another year under the belt, getting better. You still got Chris Paul doesn't have to do as much because that team is a year older. They're deep. They got the interior presence. It doesn't come down to Chris Paul because at the end of the day, he's just going to be distributing. Devin Booker will get the job done, especially if the guys can take care of it inside and they have the bodies to take care of Giannis inside. Not that Giannis still ain't going to get his. It's just they're going to stop him from going for 50 points and stuff like that, man. They're going to wear him down. That's a lot of big bodies, a lot of muscle to go through. And as opposed to going up against Dario Saric and Frank Kaminsky, that's all they had down there outside of Ayton. They have two legitimate guys whose careers have been built on being interior forces on defense.
And Jay, you want to say something real quick?
No, I was saying that Chris Paul, I mean, he's averaging like 10.2 assists per game. I mean, he's still like, even though he's like, getting older, I mean, he's still like more wiser. I think one of the announcers last night said that like Chris Paul knows every rule in the rule book. Like he knows everything. Like really, that's true. Like his mind is like, and it sucks that
any team he goes to, man. Any team he goes to, they're good.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the man because like he hasn't had a championship. I mean, I feel like he deserves one, man, and like
100% deserves it.
So, and I mean, I feel like he should. Maybe not this year, but I feel like he should earn like an MVP award, man, because he does.
Steve Nash won 2. Chris Paul does the same thing, hasn't won any.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, give the man his flowers, man, and like a lot of people think a lot of people are shocked that he's producing at this old age. But I'm not shocked at all. Like, he's doing good, still shoots the ball well, passes the ball with efficiency. So, I mean, I take my hat out to Chris Paul, man. Like,
all right, yeah.
And we said that the Suns. One quick thing, we talk about the Suns depth. The Bucks are 10 deep too. You got Pat Connaughton, Giannis, Grayson Allen.
Where is that? Where's the deepness?
Holiday.
Please tell me where the deepness is, man.
What? Brooke Lopez,
Grayson Allen? You're gonna go and say Grayson Allen is depth? Come on, dude.
He's capable. I'm saying capable. He's a capable scorer off the bench.
We'll stick with Grayson Allen in a little bit. Hold on.
Dude, I can't stand that guy. What a bum.
He is.
What a bum.
Bobby Portis, Wesley Matthews.
Okay.
They got pieces. They got some solid bench pieces. They match up relatively well.
Wesley Matthews. Okay. Yeah.
All
fair.
right. So, Suns looking good. They're right now sitting at 37-9, top of the Western Conference right now. So Suns are looking good.
What's wrong, brother? What's wrong, man? What's wrong, bro?
He just got me tight, dude. He said the Bucks got depth. Grayson Allen, get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, all right.
Grayson Allen is good at his
play 9-10 deep. They're 9-10 deep.
All right, I'm about to talk about Grayson Allen right now. We're about
Go
to
ahead,
Final story of the night. Alex Caruso, broken wrist, should be out about 6 weeks off of Grayson Allen. A little cheap play. When West weren't really looking. Grayson Allen received the 1-game suspension afterwards. This is our last story of the night. It's not as big as the story as the other ones we were talking about, but Grayson Allen has a history going all the way back to Duke. And I know Jordan John Louis is our Duke fan here. And he's more of a Grayson Allen supporter than the rest of us. So, Jay, Take it away.
I mean, like, I'm not. I mean, he's when he's on his right in his right mindset, he's a good player. But like I'm not really like a Grayson Allen. Like I'm not for him, whatever. But like, I mean, he that play was dangerous. I mean, people when the first after the play, like on social media, like people were like, "Oh wow, he really did that." Like, but people are like, shouldn't be shocked because he like Ann said, he did some things, tripped some people in Duke, unintentionally or intentionally. So I mean, that play was very blatant. It was very obvious. I mean, I think it deserved a 1 game suspension, maybe a 2 or 3 game suspension. Because I mean, like I think the coach was like that could have ended his season, like the way like because I think Caruso was ahead of him by like a foot or two, and Grayson Allen just like trucked him. I mean, it is what it is. I think the NBA gave him 1 game suspension. I think it should have been longer, because it was just a dangerous play. But when Grayson Allen is in his right mindset and like he's not that crazy, I think he's a shooter. But yeah, very very dangerous play.
Maz, you were trash talking Grayson Allen. Give it to me right now.
The kid's bush league, bro. He's been doing this dumb stuff ever since Duke with the tripping. I mean, how? I don't know, bro. I'm about to get a fine right now. Once scum, always scum, dude. Like, I just can't stand the kid. He doesn't even make a play on the ball. It just absolutely goes after Caruso's arms, in my opinion. Then coming back with the second one, like, dude, you got to make a play on the ball. And I just don't know what he's thinking. I'm annoyed the kid's even in the league, to be honest. I don't know, man. He's just. It is what it is. I know the kid's averaging like 11.8 points. He can bring value, but he's just somebody that like when you watch, it's not like Draymond where it's like, okay, the guy's annoying, but he's he's going out there and like still competing. This guy's just going out there and it's just like he's mentally weak, gets frustrated, and then just does something stupid because he's like throwing like a temper tantrum for not getting his way or whatever. And every time I see this guy, I just cringe and I feel bad for whoever's going against him because I just know that there's a possibility of him just pulling out something dirty just for the sake of being dirty, not to like save. It's not like this was like a foul where it's like, all right, this is gonna be like an easy layup. Let me put this guy at the line. It's no, the guy legitimately went out there, doesn't even make a play on the ball. And quite frankly, I think he was trying to injure Caruso. I don't think he thought he was going to break his wrist, but he just went out there and just went to go give a hard foul for the sake of giving a hard foul. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm not a fan of the brand of basketball that this kid brings. I think he's a dirty player. I don't think it's one of those, a guy that you would love to have on your team, but you hate to play against him. I just think he's just an all-around POS. Like, it is what it is. I don't know him personally. I can only tell you from on-court antics, but the kid is just a child to me, and I can't stand watching him play. I just can't stand seeing him because he's just such scum, dude.
Matt, you saw the play too. What were your reactions from it?
He definitely deserved more than 1 game. I have to agree with Jordan on that, especially due to his reputation. Like you said, he's been doing this since his college days at Duke. He, in my opinion, the NBA should have definitely came down hard on him. He should have been out for at least 3 to 5 games. I think he should have. Adam Silver should have put his foot down more and just make an example out of him that this type of behavior is not acceptable in the league. I think 1 game is cutting him some slack. Thanks, Matt, for admitting that he's a decent player. 12 points a game, like I was saying, he's a quality player. But I don't like his attitude either. It seems that whenever he gets frustrated, that's his first resort. He resorts to dirty fouls, tripping people, kicking people. It's just it's not cool. It's not fun to watch. And like Matt said, he doesn't give off those Draymond Green vibes, those Marcus Smart vibes. You know those players that play on the edge of dirtiness, but you know they're not dirty. Their desire to win is so great, and you can just feel that they sometimes let their emotions get the best of them. That's not what this is. This guy, I just think he's like Matt said, he's a POS, man. I never really liked him. I think he's a good shooter. If it wasn't for him being a capable shooter, I think he'd be out the league. But that's what I have to say about that.
And how do you guys think the loss of Caruso is going to affect the Chicago Bulls team, who's been predicated primarily on the defensive end of the ball? I'm gonna start with Matt again. So Matt, what do you think of what the loss of Caruso is gonna do?
That hurts a lot. You can just see how bad the Lakers miss him, man. Alex Caruso is one of those players like a Draymond Green, like a Marcus Smart. He's one of those few players in NBA history that can score 5 points and have the second greatest impact on the entire game. Like he can get you 4 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, maybe a couple of assists, and just not take over the game, but he's definitely a key factor. Like you say, he's a great defensive player. He usually guards the other team's best guard, very active. You never hear having any issues in the locker room with his teammates. All his teammates love him, talk about the energy he brings. He's clutch. He's capable of knocking long distance shots. I think he needs to work on his handling and maybe get a mid-range game, but the athleticism is clearly there. You've seen that poster he had a few weeks ago. This man is a legit starting caliber player. He deserves to be getting the money that he's getting from Chicago, and it does really hurt them. It really does.
All right, Jay, what do you guys say about Alex Caruso injury? How's that hurt the Bulls?
No, I think I definitely agree with Matt. Maybe Matt can back me up, but maybe we do miss him on the Lakers. Because not because of his scoring, but of this hustle, and he works his heart on his sleeves. I think he's very, very underrated. With his defensive abilities. And yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know how long he's out for. Maybe a couple of weeks, but yeah, I think that's gonna really hurt their. They're just gonna make them. Not tank, but kind of they're gonna miss his defensive effort, because he will scrap. He will scrap for a ball. He would die for a ball. And what do they call it on the Lakers, on the Caruso? So with his dunking and posterizing, and they're gonna miss all that. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery. I know the Chicago doctors are really, really, even the NBA, they're really good with that, recovering people and players. So speedy recovery. Hopefully he gets back healthy. And
before you move on to Mavs, and I want to ask, do you all think, without Alex Caruso, this team will fall out of the top 3? Or you don't think the impact would be that great?
I don't think so, because they have
I don't
DeRozan.
think it's going to be that drastic. I still think they got great
Zach
scorers in DeMar and Zach LaVine at the top, and then you still got Vucevic, you still got Lonzo Ball. This team is still geared to win right now. And I don't think Caruso, he's a great role player. He comes in probably the second or third guy off the bench. It's going to impact a few games. They'll probably have a loss here or there just because they're going to miss his presence. But I don't think that's just going to completely take him out of the top 3.
Well, and you just completely missed something, my man. No disrespect, but we talked about the last basketball podcast that Lonzo Ball is out. Alex Caruso, next man up, is also out.
That's right. That's right. Sorry.
So they're definitely going to be missing Alex Caruso. It's bad just to see him go down, but if you had Lonzo, obviously it's hey, they can still manage for sure. But with both of them going out, you're missing a lot of defense. And I think all of that just basically falls on Kobe White to step up and do his thing, man. I think you need Vucevic to step up a little bit. You're not guard heavy. You got to go out there. You basically got to play Caruso ball if you're Kobe White. You got to be hustling. He has better vision than Caruso. You just need somebody to step up and just obviously not take over games, just play a role. And obviously Zach LaVine, Vucevic, and especially DeMar DeRozan need to find a way to get the job done. I don't think they fall out of the top 3, but it's definitely going to be a rough one because this is becoming a guard-oriented game, and you have 2 of the best defenders at the guard position, and you're going to be missing them. So somebody's got to step up, but I just think they still have enough talent to still maintain within the top 3. And I hate to see Caruso go down like that. I don't know if I'm missing him on the Lakers. I'm missing the energy and the hustle that he brings, but I felt that Vogel just trusted him too much in crucial situations, for my opinion, for the team that we had. I'm sorry, I don't want to see Alex Caruso out there taking the last shot at times, as we've seen him do in crucial minutes under Vogel. I think he's a great player. I think he brings great depth. I think he's one of those high impact, high energy, he's just going to hustle, scrap, and grind out there. But he's not a guy that I want to see in clutch minutes, to be completely honest with you. If you need a stop, sure. But man, it's hard. Like I have like a love-hate relationship for Alex Caruso, but I don't want to see him go down, especially on a Bush League play like that. Like that was ridiculous, man. And
Right.
granted, I don't think Allen thought he was gonna break his wrist, but that was the result of his bonehead decision and not a mistake decision, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's entirely possible that they fall out of the top 3 though, because they're only 2 games ahead of Brooklyn at the 2 seed.
What
Then
is Brooklyn
Brooklyn's
gonna do
third.
though?
Then Brooklyn's third, and then Milwaukee's only 4 games behind them, and Milwaukee's on a 3-game win streak. Meanwhile, Chicago's lost 3 out of their last. I mean, has only won 3 out of their last 10. So
Well,
I
here's
think
my
it's entirely
prediction.
possible they fall to
Dude,
to 4th.
Brooklyn's going down out of the top 3 before them. I could see them dropping a bit with I believe it's Miami is up there with them and the Bucks climbing up, but they'll still would be within the top 3. The Nets are definitely without KD and the stuff that's going on with Harden and Kyrie and stuff. They're falling before Chicago is because, dude, I mean, granted, they've lost Lonzo, they lost Caruso. They still have 3 big pieces, 3 important pieces. DeMar DeRozan's been in the MVP debate at times this year, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
When is KD supposed to come back?
after All-Star break, I think.
Yeah, he's
All-Star
definitely
break?
missing the All-Star game. So they're going to be missing him, dude, especially Kyrie can't play every game. Harden is already frustrated and having streaky performances, 33 one night, 13 the other. He's got to find a way to manage, and he has no depth. At least Chicago has depth. I mean, listen, here's the thing, though, right? Lonzo Caruso go down, you still have Kobe White. I could think of way worse third option point guards.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I agree with that.
Chicago's going to be all right.
So Alex Caruso, in the 28 games this season, he averages around 28 minutes, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. A crucial role player lost, and Grayson Allen 1-game suspension. But that's going to do it tonight for the JJL Sports Talk Show. Great show tonight, guys. You can catch us anywhere you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. This is going to go up in a little bit. Give us a little shout out wherever you can. We love anyone. Give us any questions that you need, any stories that you want to break. Give it to us. I'm going to pass it to the panel. Any last words you guys want to say?
Did we all pick Rams Chiefs for the Super Bowl?
Yes.
No. Maz took Cincinnati.
I took Cincy, bro. I'm
you
probably
took
going to
Cincy?
be
Oh, yeah, you
wrong,
did.
but like, yo,
You did.
it is what it is. But as Ant said, you can find us everywhere. You already know what it is. We'll
Yep.
be back next week. Go ahead,
Yes,
Big
sir.
J.
Yeah, man. I'm Jordan. The founder of the show, and I'm like all my colleagues, wonderful colleagues. Just like Ant said, the support, download, subscribe to the channel. If you follow me on Instagram, I found in my bio the link tree just to have the app Spotify links right on there. So just share. If you know anybody that hasn't really watched the show, share it with them, get it going, and we'll be back real soon, fellas.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. See you guys later.